Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I want to start off by reading two definitions for y'all, okay? The first one is double standard, okay? What is double standard? Double standard is a rule or principle which is unfairly applied in different ways to different people or groups, okay? Second definition I want to read to y'all, okay? My second definition is white privilege. What is white privilege? White privilege is inherent advantages possessed by a white person on the basis of their race in a society characterized by racial inequality and injustice. Okay. The topic today is going to be the Trump supporters overtaking the White House. I've been wanting to cover this topic for quite some time. I just haven't been able to get on here and discuss my feelings towards this. Okay. Now, when we saw that display of, behavior by the Trump supporters, it it brought up the word and the definition double standard to me because if we would have had a group of Muslims, if we would have had a group of blacks, if we had a group of Chinese, Asian, Spanish, Mexican, the outcome would have been different. There would have been more casualties. There would have been more harmful acts done to these groups of people. There would have been death. Um, there would have been the canines would have been out. Okay, why is it that the Trump supporters can take over a monument of America, a monument of the United States, breaking windows, throwing equipment, stealing equipment, putting their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, writing notes saying we will not back down, you will not, you know, kick Donald Trump out? What more what more does a Trump supporters have to do in order to get the same treatment as if the BLM movement did that? Okay? Does they what more does the white privilege movement, what more does the Trump supporter movement have to do in order to get the level of force used upon them as if it was me or some of my people that went up there? What more does it take? I mean, if they're allowed to do what they did, a federal building, the president's building, if they're allowed to do that, what's going to stop them from doing some other shit that's part of federal property or even bigger than that? Okay? Now, the term white privilege just ties right into that. Okay? I didn't really see any other color besides white people, besides Caucasians, during that disgraceful display of behavior, smashing up the White House. Okay? And we got some black Trump supporters out there. There's quite a few. We got Mexican Trump supporters out there. There's quite a few. But I didn't see not one minority there during that radical riot they did. Okay? And then a lot of Trump supporters, before they did this, they were saying, why aren't, well, to make their point seem more valid, they said, well, the protesters were smashing up buildings, the protesters were stealing stuff, the protesters were breaking people's establishment, organizations, stuff like that. That's very true, and I'm not excusing that. However, this is a federal building. And then a lot of people were saying, well, they need to get arrested too. They cannot pinpoint everybody in the street, okay? They arrested a lot of people during the protesters' display of breaking into buildings, stealing stuff. They arrested a lot of people. They can't arrest every single person, every single individual, okay? But as far as the Trump supporters taking over the White House, it seems like a lot of the Trump supporters and pro-Trump people have a hard time admitting when they've done wrong, okay? When they've done wrong. Sorry about that, y'all. It just seems that the level of force is always going to be uneven when it comes to minorities and Caucasian in America. And this is 2021. You just seen how bad 2020 was. We're already starting off 2021 with a bad start. Okay? And for the president to allow this display to happen, because a lot of people are excusing what he did. Oh, it was Antifa that led the Trump supporters in the building. And let me highlight that. Even if that were true, if someone let you in the building, is that still give you the right or reason to mess up the White House? Nah, it doesn't. Even if that were true, which it isn't, y'all marched up there, y'all broke into the building, y'all caused chaos, havoc, y'all radical display of behavior was disgusting, okay? A lot of the Trump supporters have kids, grandchildren, and when their grandchildren and children see that, what do you think they're going to do at a young age? They're going to think that's okay. Y'all setting a bad example. And I'm not excluding the BLM protesters too, because they were setting a bad example too. But again, this is a bigger deal, and two wrongs don't make it right. This is a bigger deal than the protesters in the street. This is a federal building. This is a monument. Okay? And for the Trump supporters to be so American and so just pro-American, pro-United States, like I love America, that really goes against what y'all stand for, what y'all believe in. To wreck a federal monument in the United States, the White House, to take over. And yes, you're fighting for the cause, you're fighting for what you believe in, but there's different ways to go about that, not destroying federal property. And Donald Trump allowed this to happen until he spoke up and said something. They got a picture of his son, Donald Trump Jr., it was either a video or picture of him, posted it on Twitter or whatever he posted, what social media platform he posted it on, of them watching the Trump supporter riot, okay? And then he later got on and downplayed it, okay? And he still to this day is not taking any blame for the Trump supporters doing that to the White House. As a president, as the leader of this nation and country, you gotta know when to step up and take blame for certain things. Okay? I guarantee you, if Bill Clinton or Barack Obama was president and the protesters did that, they would want somebody to step up and take the blame. They would want Obama or Clinton to step up and take blame for that. Okay? But yet, like I said before, going back to what I touched on, it seems as though the Trump supporters have a hard time admitting when they done wrong. Okay? And I'm not excusing the Democrats, okay? I'm not excusing them too, because they have a hard time admitting shit too. But for the Trump supporters to be so American, so... And a lot of the Trump supporters are xenophobes too. They don't want a lot of people that aren't American, aren't pro-Trump in this country. They feel as though they should go back to where they came from. And if they over here legally, I'm sorry to say, or I'm not sorry to say, excuse me, I'm not sorry to say, they belong here just as you do. I'm talking to the pro-Trump supporters, okay? I'm talking to the pro-Americans. America welcomes people from other countries, okay, from other parts from around the world. To have such a hateful attitude, a hateful just vibe against other people that aren't pro-American, it says a lot about your character. Okay? We should welcome them in big arms coming over here. Why wouldn't you want to come to America? It's the best country in the world, in my opinion. But that topic is touchy for a lot of people. And the other topic, white privilege. Okay, I'm gonna cover this real quick. I believe white privilege is very true. Okay, However, I believe it's true in a lot of situations, not every situations. Okay? There are certain situations where certain minorities do play the race card too much. Okay? If you're grown and you know right from wrong, it's your responsibility to take responsibility for what you did. You own up to what you did wrong. Okay? You don't always got to play the race card. However, in some situations, when a black, when a Spanish, when a Mexican, and when a white person do the same thing, a lot of times, not all the time, a lot, keyword, a lot, not all, the Caucasian, the white person makes out better than that minority. Okay? I've seen it. I've seen plenty of examples of it growing up. Okay? There's plenty of examples of it on TV. There's plenty of examples of it reading the paper. Okay? Reading the news on the internet. And there's plenty of examples that you see day to day. Even as a white person, there's a lot of white people that are for the minorities being here, that are backing up the minorities. They're for mistreatment of minorities. They see a lot of white privilege today. There's plenty of examples of white privilege, and a lot of people get white privilege misconstrued for money. White privilege is not always about money. It's really not about money. White privilege is the definition I read you earlier. Okay? You guys got to stop misconstruing white privilege with money. Yes, money helps you get out of a lot of situations, but that's not all white privilege is. But this topic I wanted to touch base on because I wanted to talk about this basically because it just seems as though if it were any group of other protesters, other people that went up to that White House, it wouldn't have been the same. Like I said before, there would have been more deaths, there would have been more casualties, there would have been more harmful acts done against the protesters. There would have been the canines would have been out. It would have just been a shit show from start to finish. And then if that were true, we would have heard all the Trump supporters, oh, they're attacking the White House. That's what they get. They deserve that. Okay? I seen one example of where police officers were standing blocking the door. One dude punched the glass and the police officers didn't do anything. He punched the glass. Now suppose that glass would have shattered, went in the police officer's eye, or one of the glass slit his throat. And for them not to do anything versus if it was a person of color, it wouldn't have been the same. That's all I'm trying to say. White privilege, double standard. Those key definitions. Okay? Those key terms. But other than that, man, I just wanted to touch on this topic. I'm not going to harp too long on this. Give me your thoughts, your viewpoints, details down below if you want to comment. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. I have more content coming on the way. But look, be safe out there. Speak your opinion. Do it peacefully. Fight for what you believe in. Wear your mask. Stay 6 feet, or try to stay 6 feet. Wash your hands. And stay positive out there, man. Keep your head up and keep going. The grind never stops, all right? It's TJ with the long nose. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.